So this song that we're about to play to prepare us for our time of meditation is written and performed by Melinda Wood Allen, who is a New Thought minister. Come on, Betty, just in time. Now, this song is based on the Ho'oponopono prayer. Are you familiar with the Ho'oponopono prayer? It's a Hawaiian prayer. It says, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you for forgiving me. Some people just say thank you. I love you. And those are the 4 verses of that prayer. And the intention of that prayer is not to correct anybody else. It's all, as we all are in unity, it's about changing our own, Dr. Hewlin calls it cleaning. He does his own cleaning, right? So if you just take those 4 phrases separately, they're so powerful. If you say I'm sorry to someone and you mean it, that's a bridge, that's making a connection. If you say thank you for forgiving me when someone has actually forgiven you, that's acknowledging the work that they have done to release you and them together. When you say, please forgive me, when you ask for forgiveness, you're acknowledging that you need to be forgiven, that you actually have something to be pardoned for that you've done. And of course you have to follow that up with some corrective behavior, because if not, it's empty. And then I love you. That's such a powerful, powerful phrase. So as you're listening to this song and she uses those phrases, allow it to do some cleaning for you. Allow it to just move through you, and whatever it is, you don't have to name it or put a picture to it. Just allow it to kind of shift those things that are unneeded and unwanted within you to release it. And that's one of the Ho'oponopono prayer is one of the practices we'll be exploring on our practices night at our Wellness Wednesday. So I wanted to introduce you to that. But if you will, if you're comfortable closing your eyes and sitting up straight, let your spine be erect, both feet on the floor, uncross your hands and your feet. Just allow yourself to be open and receptive, and you might want to turn your palms up. This is both a giving and receiving mudra position or hand position. And just take a deep breath in.
I
this space, eyes closed if you're comfortable with that. Sitting still, letting your support, your chair just fully support the body. Just relaxing into this moment. Bring your attention to your breath. Breathing in and breathing out of your nostrils. Just in your normal rhythm. And pay attention to that breathing in as it feels a little bit cool. And that breathing out is just the slightest bit warmer. Breathing in, cooler. And breathing out, warmer. The breath allows us to direct the energy, the prana, the life force of the body. We can be energized by breath. We can relax with breathing long and deep breaths. Allow your attention to follow your breath as it moves deep within, deeper and deeper, to your secret place of the Most High. Please place deep within you where you know your connection. Not that your connection ever leaves you, but our attention often gets taken away from this connection. Always present and always available to bring us truth, to offer us guidance, to rest us in peace. Allow yourself now to just remain connected, feeling that peace. In a moment of silence. As you listen to the sound of the gong, allow yourself to feel the vibration. Allow it to move through every cell of your body. My talk today is Mind Body Blossoming. I love the image of blossoming. I always like to look at the lotus flower, because the lotus flower, as you all know, if you know Bob Seema's song, "No mud, no lotus." So the lotus flower grows from the mud, comes up through the murk, but it gives us this multi-faceted, many petaled, beautiful flower. It's symbolic in many religions, especially Hinduism and Buddhism, as the moment, not moment of enlightenment, because there's not one moment. It's multi-phase, it's always unfolding. We are multifaceted beings, and many believe, and I do, we're multidimensional beings. We're not just here in this 5-sensory world. We're mind. You know, the brain is in your body, but the body is in your mind. Does that feel right to you?
Yes.
That thick mush in here, that's your brain in your body. But your body is part of your mind, and your mind goes way beyond your physical nature. That's why we have intuition. That's why we have premonition. We have all these ways of understanding things that our 5 senses did not tell us. So to me, that is the whole multidimensionality, not the whole of it, but that's proof to me. That's all I need to know, that this is not all there is to me. And it also brings in that idea that is so, and it says, I am restored to health as I claim my wholeness. Now, sometimes we don't know what wholeness means, right? We're just like, health and wholeness, health, that seems tangible. I go get my blood work, it tells me I'm in the normal parameters, that's good health. I've got muscle tone, I can balance. But this, I love this phrase in the Daily Word from yesterday: I provide myself with the resources I need to encourage my healing. This is why we come together as a community. We're collectively encouraging, we're providing a resource for healing by being present with one another, by claiming our good together. This is a resource for healing. And healing means a lot of different things in a lot of different contexts. But it's not just one thing. Yes, you might be dealing with a physical issue right now, and healing to you is that physical issue. But that physical issue, as we know from Louise Hay's work, could very well have an emotional component. And an emotional component drives an energetic component. That's why I love to work with vibration so much. That's why I introduced you to my gong. Some of you've met it before, and the crystal bowl, of course, if you were here a few weeks back, I used that. But these are things to assist us in letting go and allowing our vibration to rise. Because when we're in our head, when we're thinking about things on just a 5-sensory level, we're kind of contracting ourselves. But when we let go and we facilitate with some sort of tool like this, or it may be a practice of some sort that you have, it may be chanting. Chanting is a great way. I know we have musicians in the room. Music is a wonderful way of healing yourself, releasing yourself, getting yourself over to the vibration of the music. But there's so many different ways. So this one says, I support my healing process by attending to any physical or emotional wounds with compassion and nurturing. You know, we are a culture of shame. That's the truth. If you read any of Brené Brown's work on shame, I mean, we all have it, just collectively and individually, and we dump it on each other as a form of control. You know, I mean, a lot of people, that's kind of their go-to parenting move, right? Is shame your child so you get them under control. So it says, I provide myself with the resources I need to encourage my healing. No matter what prompts my healing journey, I always have the ability to experience my wholeness. So in that image of the lotus, sometimes we're in the mud, and sometimes we're picking up out of the mud. and then sometimes we're right back in the mud. And if you were here or you watched online the week I talked about the Buddhist symbol, the Unalome, it's also Buddhist and Hindu as well. But it starts with that spiral, that new idea, and then it's got the little switchbacks like this because we have to work that new idea into our life, and then it goes straight. That's where they often superimpose a lotus. Because when you get it, then you have an enlightenment, you have an understanding, awareness on that level. That is a form of healing. Mentally, physically, spiritually. We're moving, and here we are, but then we're not stopped there. We start back at the spiral because we have a new understanding, a new awareness. We have to start working with that again and applying it in our life. So we deal with the switchbacks again because we have to. It's not like, oh, here I am again. It's like, oh, okay, now I'm integrating this new understanding. I have the privilege of bringing these concepts into my life. One of my great nephew's girlfriend was in my house not long ago, and she said, you sure have a lot of self-help books. And I said, well, yeah, because they've helped me. And I'm happy to share them, but I value everything I've learned. I didn't come into this world, well, maybe I came into this world pure and understanding things, but I quickly unlearned a lot of good and learned a lot of dysfunctional behaviors. I didn't have great communication that was clear, and I didn't have language of feelings and needs. So all of these tools that are available to us help us to unload and to come back to the truth of who we are. Yes, it's self-help, and you can mock it if you want. She wasn't mocking, she was just observing. But it is how we move through life, and as we let go of shame and discord and manipulation and codependent behaviors. You know, in the South, we're kind of raised on codependency. It's just the truth of it. And we think we got to take, especially as women, we think we got to take care of everybody and everybody needs us, and we just burn ourselves out trying to make the world a better place. When our job is really to work from within. And when we do our work from within, so without. So we, in our families, if we are healing, our families might resist it, they may not like it. If you've ever been in any codependent work, you know that people don't really like it when you start showing up differently and setting boundaries and communicating clearly. They're like, no, 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 I like the old you that's easy to manipulate. But we're here to heal from. And many people believe we came in our families of origin to take on those lessons, to learn, because we can, because we have the ability, we have the strength and the understanding of who we are in this world to be able to make it through those situations and those environments. Everybody knows the symbol of the tree of life. It's beautiful. It's just draws you in whether you have any idea or not, but it's a symbol of personal development. The uniqueness and the individual beauty, what it really shows by showing the roots that are equal to the branches, which is how trees grow, right? And if they don't have the roots, but they grow branches, what happens? They fall over. Gotta have the roots. The roots are the healing. We're reaching for growth, but we're rooted in truth. It's a beautiful symbol. And it's something to really kind of keep, I mean, if you have any emblems like that, you know, I like to wear necklaces and things like that that remind me. So in the Revealing Word, it talks about healing. It says restoring to original purity or integrity. That is the reference from Webster that they begin with. And they said the first step on all spiritual healing is to believe. Believe. You cannot doubt healing and receive healing at the same time. It's two opposite ends of the spectrum. They're on the same spectrum, doubt and belief, but they're opposite ends of it. And the next step is openness and receptivity. So you first have to believe I can heal anything. There's nothing, it may hurt, I may be wrapped up in a ball right now, I may be knotted up, maybe I can't get my words out, but I believe I can get through this moment, because that's all it is, a moment, this tragedy, this trauma, maybe I've carried it with me all these years, but now I know if I'm open and receptive, I can let it go and I can receive, go back. It's not receiving something that's not already there. That's just the twist about that word receive. You're not getting something you don't already have. It's like the word education, it's really drawing it out, right? You're drawing out the understanding that you already have. You're just allowing yourself to be in the healing that is your natural state. Your natural state is heal and hold. Heal and hold. I said heal and hold. Healed and whole. Your natural state is perfection. Not from the perfectionist view of perfection, because that means you're never going to get there. No, it's the perfection of you as a divine being. The perfection of understanding that connection you have with yourself, with the divinity within you, with this stream of healing life. I love this image. Just think of this stream of healing life flowing through you. Stream of healing life. I love that image because I like to work with energy. I'm a Reiki master. I like to work with energy, but I also sometimes just sit. If I'm not feeling so great, I just run my energy up and down my spine until I start tingling. I'm energizing the cells in my body, and that is working with prana. And prana is that life force energy, but it's directed through the breath. This is the definition, breath considered a life-giving force. So you've got connection with your breath that helps you get in touch with your energy. Now, a lot of people think they're dense like a rock. They're not feeling their energy. They're not feeling anybody else's energy. Some people, I'm very empathic, so I feel a lot of energy from a lot of people, places, and things. And thoughts. I can just, it's a lot. I feel it. I feel a lot of things. But for those of you who don't, this is something we'll be working on one of those weeks when we do practices. We're going to work with energy. We're going to work with thoughts. We're going to work with breath. So we learn to move our energy. So when you're feeling stuck, you have tools to say, you know what, I get to choose. Like that song we began with, I get to choose what my day is going to be like. I love to tell this story of my great nephew. Many of you know my niece Kim. She has 4 sons. When her oldest son was in pre-K, I think, he got up one morning, and I was visiting, so I was in the other room, but I was listening to her talking to him. And he said, I just can't go today. I can't go. And she said, why not? Well, yesterday I got a frowny face. So their model was, when you do well, you get a happy face every day on your calendar. And if one day you get an upside down happy face, you get a frowny face, you get 3 of those in a row, and your banana falls from the tree. So there's a tree with everybody's banana, and they got their name on it. So it's a visual, right? So he got 1 frowny face for talking or moving around or whatever he was doing. But to him, this was the path to destruction. His banana was going to fall from that tree. He cannot go back. Here he is tormenting himself at 3 or 4 years old. I'm not sure exactly. And Kim said, okay, I hear you. That's really a lot to deal with. So I want you to think about what your day is going to be. And so she coached him into thinking about and planning his day out before he goes. And she said, I'm going to go and make some breakfast, and I'll come back, and you tell me what you want to do today. And by the time she made the breakfast and she came back, he thought it through, and he felt like he could handle it. But he had to be guided to think in a different way. How many times have we started spiraling? I mean, it's just so common. Or we're with someone who's spiraling, and before you know it, we're on the track with them, spiraling right along, talking about how terrible it is, talking about the woes of the world and how destruction and mayhem and blah, blah, blah. And it's just so easy to do. There was a gentleman in my house this week installing one of those smart thermostats, and he just had this little cadence of, well, watch out for these people, they're gonna do that, and you might need this, but you better watch out, because this, and finally, I just had to say to him, he was finished. I was polite up until that point, but he was just hanging on, telling me all the world's problems and how I needed to protect myself. And I just said, you know what? I'm gonna have to just ask you to stop the commentary. And he went, what? I said, I don't need it, thank you. I'm good with my world. And he just kind of went, oh, okay. I wasn't rude to him. I just had had enough in the 30 minutes or so that he'd been there that I needed to say, oops, time out. Because I need to guard, number one, the energy in my home, right? We've got to have some love spoken here. We've got to see the world in a positive way. But we get to choose. And we don't have to be rude about it, right? Because then we're just getting on the train with them anyway. So I just said, I'm just going to have to ask you not to give me your commentary. And he wasn't offended. He was okay with that. And maybe that will start a little process for him to think, but I don't know, I don't own him, right? But this whole thing about energy and vibe, I'm very much a vibe person. I vibe, I feel people. I should have been, I was only born in 59, so I was just a wee baby in the 60s when everybody was really talking about vibes. Mm-hmm. But I should have, I was, I guess in elementary school, we would write groovy everywhere and all that. But I'm really a field hippie at heart. That's what I used to tell some of my corporate managers. It's like, yeah, but really I'm a field hippie. And they go, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. But that's my true nature. I'm very connected with nature. I consider myself in many ways a Taoist. And I love the shamanism of the Native American cultures. So we can be all of these things, especially that's the beauty of unity, is that yes, we have a set of 5 basic principles, and that helps guide how we see the universe, because we know these laws are true. But we can incorporate belief systems that work for us. We don't all expect everyone to come in and believe the same thing. One time in Dallas, this guy came through the receiving line. I don't know if I had given the talk or whatever that day, but he said, I'm a Muslim, but I want to join. I want to convert, he said. And I said, well, you're welcome to join the church, and we would love to have you, but there's no need to convert. You could still go to your mosque, and you could still, participate in prayers that are meaningful to you, and you can still come here. And because we're going to give you, universal truth that's not going to be in conflict with your principles of peace that are part of Islam. So also in the revealing word, it says the whole universe is in vibration, and that vibration is under law. What does that mean, law? Universal, immutable law. That means it doesn't change. It's like mathematics. If you've ever done a lot of mathematics, you learn the formula, because when you use the formula, you get that same outcome. If you don't understand the formula, you get a different outcome that is considered not correct. Universal law is the same way. We don't talk about sin from the standpoint of you're doing a bad thing. You're missing the mark, as in archery, right? You're just not quite, you don't quite get it yet that there is cause and effect in the universe. And the things that you keep doing, my friend Carolyn Bailey down in Kerrville says, her mother used to say to her, if you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you always got. And that's just so simple, but it's very true, right? And we know that Einstein is attributed with saying the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. The fact is, there are certain cause and effect, other immutable laws. We are vibration. If you're familiar with David Hawkins' work on the emotional states, they each have a number, but those numbers are related to vibration. The more peace and joy and love, or really love and then joy and then peace in that order. Peace is the highest. But we really can choose how we want to vibe in the world. And the law of attraction, as many people, has been made popular, but that's really a sub-law of the law of vibration, right? In quantum physics, you can have two waves that are, if you have one that's this way, and then one comes in this way, they kind of cancel each other out, right? But if you have two that are on the same vibe, this is why praying together, then they amplify. I'm not sure right now the name of that escapes me. But anyway, these are laws because they're repeatable and they work. Chaos would result if the law were not supreme, if mathematics didn't work, if zeros and ones didn't have a certain pattern. We wouldn't be able to use our computers. We wouldn't have this background, this support of science that now proves what used to always be called woo-woo. Goes on to say each particular thing has its own rate of vibration. Heat, light, and color are different rates of vibration in one field of primal energy. We're in one field. Also a phrase, a term used by quantum physics. They talk about the field. Well, Rumi talked about the field centuries ago. This is just an excerpt of a pretty long poem, and it's called A Great Wagon. But I'm not going to read you all of it, but the phrase that we know most often is out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there's a field. I'll meet you there. So I'm going to read a little bit more of the poem, but not the whole thing. Out beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there's a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in the grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, and even the phrase each other doesn't make sense. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door sill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. And the Unalong, now you've learned it. Embrace the switchbacks. Embrace the mud and the muck. And don't go back to sleep. Don't go back down backwards. Embrace what you've learned and put it into practice in your life. This is true healing. When we learn and we grow and we become a whole new person. Are you the same person you were a year ago? 5 years ago? Oh my gosh, when I think about my 20s, ooh, I'm like, ugh, I don't want to meet her. She was pretty uptight. She was not vibing at all. She was tamped down, screwed on, really tight. So again, back to Wellness Wednesdays, we're going to explore all kinds of things. Intention, balancing, wellness, gratitude, forgiveness, self-love, faith, peace, harmony, all kinds of things. Each week, we're going to, we have a schedule. So this week, we're going to do the Sound Journey meditation. So it's a 5-phase meditation process. It's really 5 short meditations. And then when I get you where I want you, I'm going to take you on a journey of sound. And then I'll bring you back. And then we'll close with that. And we'll have a little time if you have anything you want to discuss or questions. But it's all about healing. And then the third week, so the second week will be the second week of each month. So the first week of each month will be Sound Journey. The second week of each month will be practices. Tapping is one we'll get into, Ho'oponopono prayer, chanting. We're just going to explore practices, all of which I have explored at different phases in my life, looking to heal, looking to move past my self, my little s self, and to connect better with my higher self. So this picture is to remind me to mention that we will be doing the third Wednesdays of the week, a healing circle. Now, you do not have to be a Reiki master or have any healing experience. We will do an exchange if you're comfortable with that. It's not touching. If you can do above without a touch, or if you agree with whoever you're working with, you can do a light touch. But we'll go through a practice that I call touch of grace. And so I used to work with someone in Dallas. 3 of us developed it. It's not like scientific secret. It's affirmative prayer, Reiki hand positions, or healing touch if you follow the more nursing view of that. That's how I began into energy work, was healing touch, which is Doris Krieger, I think is her work. But it was a nurse who developed that to help people heal. But we'll do that, and then we'll close in a prayer of gratitude. So it's prayer, energy, prayer. Very simple. And as we move on, if people want to bring in other practices, and we might explore that for the healing circle. But the whole point is we're all coming there with an intention. And you don't have to have an ache or a pain or a heartache or whatever to come and be a part of the healing circle, because we all have things to let go of and move beyond. So Jesus was all about healing. Well, first of all, he was about love, right? He was asked, what's the first commandment? Love God with all your heart and your mind and your soul. Second, love your neighbors as yourself. But his ministry that really kind of got him in trouble was when he began healing, right? And so in Mark 9:23, a man has brought his son who was deaf and mute and having seizures and just never really had a normal life, and he wanted him to heal him. And Jesus said, if you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. If you can believe. So that's the kicker right there. We really have to just be like little children. We have to be innocent. You know how when little kids, you tell them a story, it may not be true, but they believe you because you're an adult. We have to be that way with the universe. We have to believe what our inner voice tells us is the possibility for our life to have wholeness and well-being. I love this symbol, and when Jeannie does the prayers each week, she talks about the spiral. Spirals are found over and over and over in nature. They begin the Unalome because it's the renewal, the regeneration. It's a symbol of life beginning anew. To me, it is the symbol of healing. So this week, I'd like to give you a practice. So this week, I'm going to ask you to let yourself blossom. Be still, open up, explore. What is it that I could release? What is it I could change my mind about? What is it that could help me to be more present to my own divine nature? And then accept the guidance that you get back. It's a really important process to go through. So we're going to listen to this song, and you might want to get up and move around. If you know Eddie Watkins Jr., he is all about their healing going on. He gets started.
Let me walk to the banks of the river of love, where the current runs deep, baptized in the one, where there's no separation and the light is all we see, honoring all our differences, and love will set us free. Whoa, Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Yeah, Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. I said, oh, you're right, my soul. I said, oh, you're right, my soul.
His voice just convinced
I see the blessings of the past. It's time to re-qualify. things in me. Compassion, faith, and hope, and love, and truth will set us free. Oh, oh, Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. No, Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. I said, oh, you rock my soul. I said, oh, you rock my soul. One more time, I said, Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. I said, oh, you rock my soul. I said, oh, you rock my soul. I said, oh, you rock my soul. My brother, 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 my mother, my sister, my brother, my friend, my brother, my sister, my mother, my friend, my brother, my sister, my mother, my friend, my brother, my sister, my mother, my oh Lord, yeah. There's a healing going on. Come on, y'all.
Come on, y'all.
There's a healing going on.
Count the notes and then they pass it again. It's not the number yet. We don't do that usually.
Come on, Martin, play some
We
healing.
believe in free will giving. I'm gonna back him off of that, because that song went on longer than I thought, but it sure was a good one, wasn't it? So yeah, we'll have some healing happening. It may not be people throwing down and dancing around, but Betty was having some healing going on. She was dancing really well. Okay, so this is our time where we have an opportunity to give, and giving and receiving is the same energy in this universe.